Contrary to popular belief, the number one wealth killer is not avocado toast or $6 coffees. Although I did spend over $4,000 on cappuccinos in 2022, that's $5 a cappuccino plus $1 tip twice a day, every day. Anyway, the number one wealth killer is actually the number two largest expense for Canadians. After accommodations, which is the largest expense, and rightfully so, but I don't consider it a wealth killer, is the second largest expense, transportation. More specifically, cars are personal vehicles. Canadians average over $1,000 per month on cars when they don't have to. We all love the freedom and convenience that comes with owning a car, but it's essential to understand how car debt and car payments can affect your financial well-being. It's one of the areas where many Canadians, like everyone I know, they don't think they're facing challenges. They don't think it's an area that they can reduce or that they want to reduce. So let's shine a light on this topic and explore how it can impact your wealth. Car payments may seem like a small part of your monthly budget, but you have to consider the total cost of the vehicle, including interest charges, insurance, maintenance, and fuel expenses to get a clear picture of the financial impact. I'll ask a friend or colleague what they spend on a lease, why aren't they reducing, why are they getting a new car, and they'll say it's only $600 a month to lease. Yeah, but it's $200 for insurance, it's $250 for gas, and it's $200 for maintenance. The total cost is sometimes twice as much as what they think or twice as much as what they tell me. Everyone tries to justify their car purchase. Even I do, I'm guilty of this as well. But society places a huge amount of value or success based on what type of car you drive, and it better be new. Everyone wants to keep up with the Joneses, to show off in front of their friends, or to get girls, which I'm totally not guilty of. It's easy to justify a nicer, more expensive car than you can actually afford to achieve a societal status. It's actually easy to fake it or to fake the lifestyle by extending payments 72 months or just leasing new cars and never fully paying them off. We also justify our costs by thinking we'll have an asset that we'll be able to sell. But it's a depreciating asset. It loses value over time, and it gives us more headaches and issues over time. It doesn't become more reliable, it becomes more unreliable. Take a look at this breakdown from Kelley Blue Book. I chose entry-level luxury since that's what my peers and friends seem to be buying. This image breaks down the cost to own these cars over 5 years. I wasn't able to find something related to Canada. These are US costs, so you'll see some random comments like state fees. But if we ignore that item and look at the depreciation amount, the biggest expense by far is the asset, the car losing value. I want to point this out. Everyone thinks, oh, I can just sell my car, it's an asset, I'll get the cash, I'll get rid of the debt. But unless your car is fully paid off, there's a chance your car might depreciate faster than you can pay down the loan. You end up being upside down on your loan, so if you sell the car, you can't cover the debt. You'll have to shell out more cash to pay off the debt, even though you sold the car. The point of this video is not to say don't get a car, never get a car, but to highlight you're probably spending too much. Looking at this breakdown of the cost to own a car, where is the easiest or quickest place to save cost? It's easily the depreciation. When you get a new car, you lose 10 to 15% within the first few months, maybe even 20% in the first year, depending on how much you drive. The sweet spot to avoid the biggest financial hit on depreciation is a 3 to 4 year old car with like 50,000 kilometers on it. You'll have a new enough car to avoid issues for the next 3 to 4 years, and you'll have missed the biggest financial hit to your asset value and your pocketbook, which is the depreciation. The first 3 to 4 years take the biggest hit to value, so why not avoid it by buying a used car? The second area to reduce, which might not apply to everyone, is having one car instead of two, instead of three. I know a lot of people, couples, sometimes with no kids, that'll have two cars. You don't need two cars, especially if you're in a big city with transit, especially if you're working 2 to 3 days at home now. You and your spouse could split, or you could alternate driving to work, or just time your excursions better so one could stay home while the other one has a car. You don't have to do things both at the same time, taking two cars if you don't have to. I know a lot of people who get a second car, but then only use the second one on weekends. I get it, it's convenient, but at over $1,000 per month, is it worth it? I also know someone recently who got a higher paying job, but it was so far she had to get a car to drive there. Here's the bad part. After tax, when I broke it down for her, she was losing money. If she made $15,000 extra per year in the new job, after tax, it's only $8,000. And then she spent $10,000 a year on her car minimum. So she's actually losing by taking this new job and getting a new car to get there. Another point, a small bit of savings that I actually haven't done in a few years, I really should, is shopping around and negotiating for insurance. You should do this annually or every other year. Call up different providers to see if you can get your current rates matched or improved. If you tell your current provider that you're leaving, they'll send you to the retention department and hopefully get you a deal or a discount. Even if it's $20, $30, or $40 a month, it's better than zero and it adds up. If you can find 5 different areas in your life to save $30 or $40 per month without changing your quality of life, it can lead to significant savings down the road and over time. Next on the list is fuel. It's a big expense, although I'm not sure how to reduce this yet. Your commute to work doesn't change. I don't recommend moving for work. Your job could change every 2 to 3 years, so don't move closer to work. You might not be there forever. You could try electric cars, but there's a premium on purchasing electric cars in the first place, so I don't see EVs as a viable option to save money. I do think they're good, but if you want an EV to save money, I don't see it working out as of the making of this video. Last item where we could potentially save is maintenance, like oil changes and some updates or repairs. But to be honest, I don't see much saving here either. I see a lot of other YouTubers mention, learn how to do your own oil changes and maintenance yourself just to save money, but I just couldn't be bothered. I want the experts to do it. I don't want to have to think about it or be bothered with the commitment or spending the time learning. I understand these costs could add up, but at this point, I don't trust myself or even have the room to do an oil change or maintenance repairs myself. The whole point of this video or discussion is to reduce spending, increase savings, which is great, but what else would we do with the money? Let's talk opportunity cost. If we were to save $10,000 or reduce our spending, we'll have an extra $10K. What do we do with it? Would it really affect me? Is it really worth changing? Is it life-changing? Obviously, I would tell everyone to invest, have an emergency fund if you don't have one yet, which you should. Invest in stocks. I would recommend investing in the S&P 500. This is a chart of VFV, a Canadian S&P 500 ETF. If we invested $10,000 into VFV, at the end of 5 years, we would have had $17,000. That's your opportunity cost. Instead of spending $10K, you could have $17,000. All you have to do is not get a new car if you don't need one, or if you do need one, get a used car. What about the last 10 years? Let's take a look at the same chart over a longer period. The same $10,000 would be $47,500 over 10 years. So instead of spending $10,000, you would have $47,500. All you have to do is skip a new car or get a used one if you need one. Lastly, where do I fit into this topic or conversation? I'm guilty of this as well. I leased a 2016 BMW, so that was 7 years ago. I thought I would keep leasing. I wanted a flashy car as part of my real estate business. Nobody wants a realtor with a broke down car or even a Honda. For some reason, not to put down Hondas, hear me out. For some reason, if a realtor has a flashy or expensive car, society thinks they're a better realtor because they're making more sales to afford it. It's dumb. It just means they're bad with money and they spend more. Regardless, I did a 4-year lease. I didn't mind the lease. It was only 0.9% interest over 4 years, which doesn't exist anymore. At the end of the lease, at the end of the 4 years, I really liked the car. I bought it out, and now I have a 7-year-old car. Same owner, just me, no issues. I don't have any monthly payments either because it's fully paid off. I just have the $150 a month in insurance and around $150 on gas. I'm going to drive this car into the ground before I make another bad decision and get another M2 or something else that has a manual transmission. That's it for this video. If you've made it this far, I've been saying this a few times, I'm thinking of starting a new series. I just saw the Netflix show, How to Get Rich. The host spoke to Americans and went through their finances and their debt, pretty much to help them manage, get out of debt, and plan their life. I want to do this with Canadians. Let me know if you're interested and willing to be filmed and released on YouTube. I'd like to get a series going where I go through Canadian finances and hopefully helping them out. I already have 5 volunteers lined up, so that's exciting. I'm trying to rent out a podcast studio so I could film it in person, and then the rest will be over Zoom if they're not in Toronto. Thanks, and tune into the next one.